You will be provided 2 pages to study for each question that will be at the end of this course. The first page is the actual question and answer that will most likely be on the DPS test. The second page is the support material for the answer to the question. Step 1 to this study approach is to see the actual question and answer without distractors. This will help your mind remember the answer when distractors are present. Step 2 is to read and study the reasoning behind the answer to the question. You will see portions of the support material in green. This is the actual answer to the question. In some cases, you will also see sentences in red. These are also very important parts of the explanation that may appear on the DPS test as another question. During the inspection of a tank vehicle, the most important item to inspect is inspection. Tank vehicles have special items that you need to check. Tank vehicles come in many types and sizes. You need to check the vehicle's operator's manual to make sure you know how to inspect your tank vehicle. Leaks. On all tank vehicles, the most important item to check is for leaks. Check under and around the vehicle for signs of any leaking. Don't carry liquids or gases in a leaking tank. In general, check the following. Check the tank's body or shell for dents or leaks. Check the intake, discharge, and cutoff valves. Make sure the valves are in the correct position before loading, unloading, or moving the vehicle. Check pipes, connections, and hoses for leaks, especially around joints. Check manhole covers and vents. Make sure the covers have gaskets and they close correctly. Keep the vents clear so they work correctly. Check special purpose equipment. If your vehicle has any of the following equipment, make sure it works. This is your vapor recovery kits, grounding and bonding cables, emergency shutoff systems, built-in fire extinguisher. Make sure you know how to operate your special equipment. Check the emergency equipment required for your vehicle. Find out what equipment you're required to carry and make sure you have it. When parking a tank trailer, you should always use the parking brakes. Anytime you park, use the parking brakes. The spring brakes. All trucks, truck tractors, and buses must be equipped with emergency brakes and parking brakes. They must be held on by mechanical force because air pressure can eventually leak away. Spring brakes are usually used to meet these needs. When driving, powerful springs are held back by air pressure. If the air pressure is removed, the spring brakes put on the brakes. A parking brake control in the cab allows the driver to let the air out of the spring brakes. This lets the springs put the brakes on. A leak in the air brake system, which causes all the air to be lost, will also cause the springs to put on the brakes. Chock the trailer wheels. Chock the trailer wheels if the trailer doesn't have spring brakes or if you're not sure. The air could leak out of the trailer air tank, releasing its emergency brakes. Without chocks, the trailer could move. If you steer a tank vehicle quickly while braking, you prevent trailers from rolling over. To prevent trailers from rolling over, you must steer gently and go slowly around corners, on ramps, off ramps, and curves. A safe speed on a curve for a straight truck or a single trailer combination vehicle may be too fast for a set of doubles or triples. There are 3 types of tank vehicles, so let's review. A liquid tank that is divided into several smaller tanks is called a. When you unload the smaller of a tank with bulkheads, be careful to check your bulkheads. Some liquid tanks are divided into several smaller tanks by bulkheads. When loading and unloading smaller tanks, the driver must pay attention to weight distribution. Don't put too much weight on the front or rear of the vehicle. Side to side surge can cause baffled tanks. Baffled liquid tanks have bulkheads in them with holes that let the liquid flow through. The baffles help to control the forward and backward liquid surge. Side to side surge can still occur. This can cause a rollover. Smooth bore tanks. Tanks that are used to haul food products, for example milk, are unbaffled tanks. Unbaffled liquid tankers, sometimes called smooth bore tanks, have nothing inside to slow down the flow of the liquid. Therefore, forward and backward surge is very strong. Unbaffled tanks are usually those that transport food products, such as milk, for example. Sanitation regulations forbid the use of baffles because of the difficulty in cleaning the inside of the tank. Be extremely cautious, slow, and careful in driving smooth bore tanks, especially when starting and stopping. Tankers that are used to transport liquid food products. What does liquid surge do to the handling of a tanker? Driving tank vehicles. Danger of surge. Liquid surge results from the movement of liquid in partially filled tanks. This movement can have bad effects on handling. For example, when coming to a stop, the liquid will surge back and forth. When the wave hits the end of the tank, it tends to push the truck in the direction of the wave is moving. If the truck is on a slippery surface, such as ice, the wave can shove a stopped truck out into an intersection. The driver of a liquid tanker must be very familiar with the handling of the vehicle. The amount of liquid to load into a tank depends upon the weight of the liquid, the legal weight limits, and loading liquids. A full tank of dense liquids, such as some acids, may exceed legal weight limits. For that reason, you may often only partially fill tanks with heavy liquids. The amount of liquid to load into a tank depends on the amount the liquid will expand in transit, the weight of the liquid, and the legal weight limits. Tankers carrying liquids should take curves. Curves. Slow down before curves, then accelerate slightly through the curve. The posted speed for a curve may be too fast for a tank vehicle. You are driving on a clear night. You must dim your headlights from high to low. You should adjust your speed so that you can see ahead. Speed and distance ahead. You should always be able to stop within the distance you can see ahead. Fog, rain, or other conditions may require that you slow down to be able to stop in the distance you can see. At night, you can see as far with low beams as you can with high beams. When you must use low beams, slow down. The best way to take a curve is to slow to a safe speed before entering the curve. Then, speed and curves. Drivers must adjust their speed for curves in the road. If you take a curve too fast, two things can happen. The tires can lose their traction and continue straight ahead, so you skid off the road. Or the tires may keep their traction and the vehicle rolls over. Tests have shown that trucks with a high center of gravity can roll over at the posted speed limit for a curve. Slow to a safe speed before you enter a curve. Braking in a curve is dangerous because it's easier to lock the wheels and cause a skid. Slow down as needed. Don't ever exceed the posted speed limit for the curve. Be in a gear that will let you accelerate slightly in the curve. This will help you keep control.